Well, good afternoon. It's May 19th, 2026, and this is the weekly DVMUG Zoom meeting. My name is Lee Wagner. I'll be hosting the meeting today. We will cover the usual items of news, videos, miscellany, questions and answers, and social hours. This week's news. This slide is just to tell me that you will find these items in the BBS, and you can click on the URLs where they're there to see the news items in greater detail. Following our little synopses on these news items. OpenAI and Apple's two-year marriage is already on the rocks. This is written up by Tom Wells of Proper Honest Tech. Bloomberg dropped a pretty significant story this week. The two-year-old partnership between Apple and OpenAI has reportedly deteriorated to the point where OpenAI's lawyers are actively working on an outside legal firm on potential breach of contract action. OpenAI believed that this agreement could generate billions of dollars in annual subscription revenue. That hasn't come close to happening. But the picture that's emerging is one where Apple's culture of secrecy essentially kept OpenAI in the dark about what they were actually signing up for, and what was delivered fell well short of what was discussed. For Apple's side, there are grievances too. Bloomberg reports that Apple has been frustrated by OpenAI's push into hardware, an effort being led by former Apple design chief Jony Ive, and staffed in part by engineers poached from Apple's own teams. Proper Honest Tech says, if OpenAI's complaint is that Apple buried the integration and didn't promote it properly, that tracks with what actually using it feels like. Any comments or questions on that breakup? Next item, privacy and data security will remain central to Apple's 2026 AI push. Wesley Hilliard of AppleInsider.com. Apple will relaunch Apple Intelligence and Siri platforms with new Apple Foundation models. Despite Google's involvement, Apple will maintain its privacy stance, not to be compromising on privacy for the sake of better artificial intelligence. Apple's missed out on the hype cycle around AI, but has thrived in spite of it. It keeps having record quarterly results without any significant updates to its AI system, which contradicts the grifts being sold to the investors. Apple doesn't need AI, but AI needs Apple. With ChatGPT set to become cash poor by 2028 without an influx of cash, and the general public becoming increasingly angry at AI companies, Apple's position couldn't be stronger. It isn't one of just desperation and failure, but one of success due to patience. It all just seems to be a happy accident, but instead of wallowing in self-pity, Apple is doing what it does best. Apple is about to bust into the industry late with a solution that actually meets people where they are. The new Apple Foundation models will be the central backbone of Apple's new AI strategy. They will run both on-device and in private cloud compute to parse data and complete tasks on behalf of the user. So it's private cloud compute which maintains their security. Any comments or questions? All right, next news item. Google didn't copy liquid glass. It did something even worse, according to David Price of Macworld.com. Company is still unoriginal, just not in the way we expected. Good news, everyone. Google hasn't copied Apple's liquid glass interface design after all, despite hinting at this in promotional materials. Instead of copying Apple's Surface aesthetic, Google has copied its unhealthy obsession with system AI-wide AI. Google calls this setup Gemini intelligence, which feels a bit on the nose. This year, the company has revealed Android will transition from an operating system into an intelligence system. Its Gemini AI tech will be integrated at all levels, automating tasks across apps, offering autofill suggestions, converting natural speech to more polished text, and acting as a gatekeeper for web browsing. Now, the premise to this article's assertion is underlined up in the second paragraph above there. Instead of copying Apple's Surface aesthetic, Google has copied its unhealthy obsession with system-wide AI. So that premise leads to its conclusion. AI is kind of bad for us. It diminishes critical thinking, spreads misinformation, puts people out of work, creates revenge porn, harms the environment, fills social media and art sites with boring slop, and pushes up the price of tech hardware. And this is David Price speaking. I'm not going to say we all should stop using AI because that genie is out of the bottle, but at the very least, we should use it thoughtfully with respect for what it costs and awareness of its limitations, not just because that's the first option on your phone screens. Any comments or questions? Moving on to the videos. Again, this reminds me to tell you that these you will be able to find on the BBS, clickable URLs. First video is by Ellen Sweeney, iOS Tips for Seniors. First time using Apple Ad Podcasts? Well, here's how. Have you ever heard someone say that they listen to podcasts and wondered what that actually means? In this beginner-friendly iPhone tutorial, I'll show you how to use the Apple Podcasts app step by step. You'll learn how to open the Podcasts app, search for a topic you enjoy, understand the difference between a podcast show and an episode, play and pause an episode, use skip back and skip forward, adjust the playback speed, and turn on enhanced dialogue to make voices easier to hear. Go, Ellen.
Have you ever heard someone say, I listen to podcasts, and wondered what that actually means? Podcasts are like radio shows you can listen to anytime, right on your iPhone. You can find shows about news, health, history, gardening, faith, hobbies, interviews, and so much more. And the best part is, your iPhone already has an app for this. It's called Apple Podcasts. Today, I'll show you the basics, how to find a podcast, play an episode, follow a show, and use a few simple controls that make listening easier. Welcome to Ellen's Tips for iOS, where I help seniors master their iPhones and iPads. If you find the video helpful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss when a new video is posted. Let's get started. Start by opening the app. Look for the Podcasts app on your iPhone. If you're in the app library, you can tap into where it says App Library and just begin typing podcasts. You'll see the symbol appear, and it's a purple background with a white podcast symbol. If you don't see it, you can actually swipe down from the middle of your home screen and type podcast into the search box. We tap the app to open it, and at the bottom of the screen, you'll see different sections depending on your iPhone. You may see tabs like Home, New, Library, and Search. For today, we're going to focus on two areas, Search and Library. Tap Search at the bottom of the screen, and this is where you can search by topic, show name, or a person's name. For example, you could search for things like gardening, healthy aging, news, history, Bible study. I'm going to go ahead and I am going to search for gardening. Once the results appear, you may see both shows and episodes. Here's how to understand it. A show is the full podcast. An episode is one individual recording inside that show. When you're just getting started, I'd recommend choosing a show first. That way, you can see several episodes and decide what interests you. So I'm just going to tap a show that looks interesting. And you'll see that there are a list of episodes here, which I can tap on. And you can scroll through them and take a look and see which show or which episode is interesting to you, and then tap on it to listen to it. Once the play button is tapped, you'll see a small player along the bottom of the screen. That's called the mini player. Tap the mini player to open the larger playback screen. This is where you'll find the main controls, like pause and play, skip back, skip forward, volume bar, and the progress bar, which shows you where you are in the episode. One of the most helpful buttons is the skip back. If you miss something, tap it and the podcast will skip back 15 seconds so you can hear it again. Now let's look at two helpful listening options. On the playback screen, you'll see a speed setting that says 1x. It might also say 0.08. 1 is your normal speed. So if the podcast sounds too fast or too slow, tap into this setting and make sure that it's set to 1x. Some people like faster speeds, but when you're just starting out, normal speed is usually best. Above the speed, you'll also see an option called Enhance Dialogue. This can make voices sound clearer, especially if there's background music or more than one person speaking. So you can tap on that to check it off. If you sometimes have trouble understanding voices in a podcast, this is a really good option to try. Let's say you find this podcast enjoyable. Instead of searching for it every time, you can follow it. Following a podcast saves the show to your library so you can find it later. To locate the follow button, depending on what screen you're on. So for this particular screen, all I need to do is tap the three buttons right here, the three dots, tap on that, and choose Follow Show. Now we're going to want to go back to the library. So I am going to swipe down from this line at the top to take us back into the mini player. And I'm going to tap on Library at the bottom of the screen. In your library, you'll be able to find the shows that you follow. This is one of the most important things to learn because it keeps your favorite podcasts organized in one place. Now let's talk about saving and downloading. These sound similar, but they're not exactly the same. When you save an episode, you mark it so that you can find it again later. When you download an episode, you store it on your iPhone so you can listen to it without using the internet. Downloading is helpful if you're traveling or going somewhere where there's poor cell service or flying on an airplane. So I'm going to bring back up the mini player. I'm going to tap on it. And so now we're going to look to download an episode. Again, if I tap on the three dots right here, there should be an option in here to download. So I can tap on download, and now that particular episode will also be downloaded into my device so that I can listen to it later. Just remember, downloaded episodes take up storage space, so every now and then it's a good idea to remove downloads you no longer need. Here's a feature many seniors might find helpful: transcripts. Some podcast episodes include a written version of what's being said. This is helpful if someone talks quickly or if you miss a word, or maybe you like reading along while listening. To find this, you want to make sure that you're on the playback screen. So if you're seeing the mini player, you want to open it up so that you can get to the playback screen. And you're going to look for the transcript view, which is right here in the bottom left-hand corner. If you tap on it and there's a transcript available, you can read along with the episode. In some cases, you can even tap a section of this transcript to jump to that part of the podcast. Let me show you quickly how to get out of transcripts. If I just tap on the transcript button again, the transcript goes away. Some podcasts also include video. If video is available, you may see an option to watch instead of just listen. Most of the time, I find audio is easiest. You can listen while doing something else, but video can be helpful if the podcast is showing you something. Also, one quick note, many podcasts are free, but some offer paid subscription. If you see the word subscribe, pause and read carefully. Following a show is usually free. Subscribing may involve paid content. So if you're brand new to podcast, just remember these 3 steps. Tap on the search bar. Make sure that you're on the home screen area. Tap on the search icon. Find a show that interests you and tap play. That's really all you need to do. For members of my iPhone and iPad Confidence Club, I'll include a simple printable guide so you can practice these steps on your own. If you're not a member and would like to join, you'll find a link in the video description. If this video was helpful, share it with a friend who might enjoy learning how to listen to podcasts on their iPhone. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.
Well, do we have any comments or questions about podcasts?
Helen is really good.
Yeah.
I've tried to explain how to use podcasts to people, and I can't even come close to that succinct but fairly comprehensive overview that she just gave.
I'll second that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good job.
Yeah, there's more to it than I had known, for sure. Okay. Second video is by Gary Rosenzweig of MacMost. Learn how to use Stage Manager on your Mac in 5 minutes. Stage Manager is one way you can manage lots of windows on your Mac's desktop at the same time. Learn the basics and give it a try, but it isn't for everyone.
Hi, this is Gary with MacMost.com. Here's your quick start guide to using Stage Manager on your Mac. So Stage Manager is a way for you to manage the windows that are on your Mac desktop. For instance, here I've got a ton of windows open on my desktop. One way to better manage those is to turn on Stage Manager. You can do that directly by going into System Settings and then in there go to Desktop and Dock. Here you can turn it on with this switch, but a more typical way to turn it on is to use Control Center. So you go to Control Center here in the top right and you'll find this button for Stage Manager. If you don't see that button, use Edit Controls here at the bottom to add it. So with Stage Manager turned on, all of your windows for a single app are shown on the desktop. The other windows, they're all still there and on that desktop, but they are moved over to the left side here. You may actually have more windows than this. It's only going to show you the most recently used ones, and how many it shows depends on the amount of space you've got according to your screen size. To switch to another group here, just click the group here in the left sidebar. So I'll click on Finder here, and now I'll see these 3 Finder windows, and notice that the 3 Pages windows went to the left to take the place of the Finder windows that were there. If I switch, say, to Notes, that one Notes window comes up and the 3 Finder windows go over to the left. When a window is too large and it takes up the space on the left side, the Stage Manager groups are still there. If you move your pointer to the left side like that, they should pop up. Now it's important to note that you can use other ways to navigate between apps. You don't need to use the left side icons. You can use, for instance, the app switcher, just like without Stage Manager. So you can use the app switcher to switch to a different app like that, and you can see it pulls the app group from the left. You can also use the dock to switch. So I can click here to go to the different apps. Now note that if you ever just want to see the desktop, you can just click on any desktop area like this and the desktop is revealed. You won't normally see things like icons that are on the desktop when using Stage Manager unless you click on the desktop to reveal it and put all the apps into the left side groups. If you find these videos valuable, consider joining the more than 3,000 others that support MacMost through Patreon. You get exclusive content, course discounts, and more. You can read about it at macmost.com/Patreon. Now if you ever want to group 2 windows together that are from different apps, first start off with one of the windows that you want to see. Then go to the left side here and drag the top window from any other app group into the main desktop area. If I then switch to another app group like to Finder here, you'll notice that this app group here is Notes and Pages. And I can bring it back like that. If I want to take this Pages window and put it back with the other ones, I can drag it back over. If you need a specific window, you can always click the icon like this. It reveals the 3 windows and you could pick the one that you want. You don't have perfect control when grouping and ungrouping windows. There's a lot you can do with dragging, but sometimes you can't get quite the groups that you want. So if you're a control freak, you're probably not going to like Stage Manager. You do have some settings that go along with Stage Manager that changes how it works. So go into System Settings, Desktop, and Dock, and then you'll see a setting here for Show Recent Apps in Stage Manager. If you turn that off, you won't see the items here on the left unless you move the pointer all the way there. Also, you can change how it behaves by switching Show Windows from an application from all at once to one at a time. Now when you do that and you click an app group like this Pages group here, the first window appears all by itself. The others remain here, but you can continue to click to bring other windows in. This is a fundamental difference, and some people that don't like Stage Manager normally do like this one window at a time version of it, and vice versa. Here's some other tips. You can minimize a window by clicking the yellow button. Instead of it going into the dock, it'll actually go into the app groups on the left. Now if you like Mission Control and like Stage Manager, they work well together. So I'll bring up Mission Control and I will add another desktop here. And I'll move some of these windows to the second desktop. And Stage Manager works as I would expect. But I could also switch to the other desktop space, and Stage Manager is working here with these windows as well. And it works in a similar way if you have multiple displays. Each screen has its own set of app groups and works independently. So there are the basics for using Stage Manager. It's not for everybody, but if you've never tried it, give it a try and see what you think. Hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching.
Comments or questions?
A lot of information awfully fast.
Yes.
I kind of wish I'd known all this back when I was working for a living.
Yes, it did look like it was pretty effective, didn't it? Yeah. All right. Third video is by Sam Cambetis. 5 iPad features nobody told you about. In this video, I'm sharing 5 iPad tips that most people don't know about or have completely forgotten they can do. These are all built right into your iPad.
Hey guys, welcome back to episode 10 of From Beginner to iPad Pro. Today's 5 tips are ones that I think a lot of people walk right past every day without knowing they're there. Let's get into it. Okay, so for tip number 1, did you know your iPad can actually identify things in your photos? Like if you take a photo of a plant, an animal, a landmark, or even food, your iPad can tell you exactly what it is. It's called Visual Lookup, and it's a fun one to play around with. Let me show you how it works. Okay, so what we want to do is open up the Photos app. And then here I've saved a few photos to show you how it works, but you should be able to use any photo that's in your photo library as long as it's food, animals, plants, or a landmark. So here, if we click on this food here, so then we want to come up to this icon here. This is the visual lookup icon. So it's like an eye with the little stars around it. If it doesn't have the stars around it, it means it can't pick up anything in the image. So if we click on the image, so you can see it has worked for this image. And then if we click on food, it's going to show us results on what the food actually is in that image. So it's picked up, it's a lentil risotto, which that's what it was. You can see this one here. It has the little stars. We'll click on it. We'll go food, and it's picked up it's a tiramisu, which is correct. So it's also really good with animals. So here's a picture of my cat. And so if we come up to the visual lookup button, it's already picked up that it's a cat. And if we click on that, it actually tries to work out what breed it is. Now, I don't actually know what breed my cat is. She was a rescue cat. But, you know, by looking at these photos, it's sort of giving me an idea. Like, yes, she does look similar to a few of these. So she could be a Norwegian forest cat or a Siberian cat. Who knows? But it is really interesting. So also for landmarks, so let's open this photo up here and click on the visual lookup. It's picked up that it's a landmark and it's the Whitby Abbey, which it is. So this won't work on every image, but it does work on a lot, just depending on how clear the subject is. It also, like for this one here, if I open it up, the photo is focusing on my NAS here, but there is a plant in the background, but it has picked up something. So we have the eye with the stars. So it has picked up something and it has picked up the plant. So if we go into this, it's showing the type of plant that it's picked up. And this is actually just a fake plant, but yeah, it has picked up the plant, which is really cool, even though it's not the subject of the photo. This can be really handy. I've actually used it a few times for plants. You can use it for like birds and stuff like that. If you're out and about and you take a photo of a bird and you want to know what it is. So this one here, you can see it's picked up. It's an Australian white ibis, also known as a bin chicken in Australia because they love eating out of the bins. So yeah, this is a fun one to play around with, so make sure you go give it a try. This one is perfect if you've ever handed your iPad to your kids, you know what it's like. You put a video on for them and within 30 seconds they've somehow closed out of it, ended up in your settings, and who knows what else. Well, there's a feature called guided access that locks your iPad to just one app, so they can't go anywhere else. And it's not just for kids, it's also really handy for things like presentations or if you just want to stay focused in one app without accidentally swiping away. Let me show you how to set it up. To use guided access, you need to first turn it on. So to do that, we want to go into our settings, and then you want to go to accessibility. And then if we scroll down to guided access, we want to turn that on. So we'll click here, and then you just want to switch the toggle on. And then we have a few settings here that we can do. So you can set a passcode or use your Face ID to unlock it. So if we set a passcode, I'll just do 1, 2, 3, 4 for this demonstration. But obviously you would want to do something that the person who you're passing the tablet to won't know if you don't want them to get out of it. But I also actually just like my Face ID. It's a lot quicker to unlock things. And then if we come back, you have a few other settings, but I find everything is okay just as is. So to start guided access, all you need to do is triple click the button on the side here. So I'll show you how to use it properly. So let's say I'm going to give my iPad to one of my kids to watch YouTube Kids. So we'll open up YouTube Kids. So once you're in the app, all you need to do is triple press this button on the side, 1, 2, 3, and then it opens up this guided access. So then once you're on this screen, all you need to do is hit start and you can start using it straight away. Or if there's anywhere on the screen that you don't want them to be able to press, you can actually circle the areas on the screen and it will disable that so they can't click into anything else. but I'll first just show you what it's like without doing that. So we'll just go straight in and hit start. So now you can see that they can use the app. They have full access to the app, but they can't swipe out of it. See, I'm trying to like swipe up, can't get out of the app. So then they can just start watching a video. They can change in between videos, but they can't get out of the app. If you want to get out of the app, it's just a triple press on here, and then it will be my Face ID, or if you're using the PIN. So 1, 2, 3, and then it uses my Face ID, and then it takes you back out, and you can just go end, and then now it's normal. You can swipe out of the guided access. You can also disable parts of the screen. So let's say we want to open up this YouTube video, and then if we turn it on, we can triple press. Oops, it just needs my Face ID. And then it's going to turn it on. So now we can circle areas on the screen to disable them. So let's just say I don't want them to have access to anything down here. I'm going to put a circle. See how it puts out this gray area box? You can put that box there. And then let's say I don't want them to be able to click on these videos. We can put a circle around that as well. And then if we come up here to resume or start, now that you cannot click on any of these things. So you can still play, pause the video, press stuff up here, but you cannot click on any of these things that are grayed out. So you can use guided access with any app on your iPad. It's not just for YouTube and watching videos. You can use it when you're playing games or anything like that. So it can be really helpful to keep things locked down in just that one app. This one is a really simple one, but makes such a difference. If you've ever wanted better sound quality when you're watching videos or listening to music on your iPad, you can connect any Bluetooth speaker wirelessly, and it only takes about 30 seconds to get it set up. Let me show you how. Okay, so for this one, the first thing you'll need to do is grab your Bluetooth speaker. So I have mine here. Every speaker is going to be a little bit different for pairing. So to connect this Bluetooth speaker to my iPad, what we need to do is first go into our settings, and then we want to come over here to Bluetooth. And then once you're in the Bluetooth settings, you need to turn on your Bluetooth speaker. So to turn on this Bluetooth speaker here, there is just my power button. So we'll turn that on. And this Bluetooth speaker actually has a pairing button here. So you can see the Bluetooth symbol right here. Usually for a lot of speakers, it could just be pressing and holding down on the power button until the lights start flashing on the speaker. So for this one, you just need to press the Bluetooth button down, and now we have a flashing light. So usually when you have a flashing light, that means it's in pairing mode. And so if we come over to our iPad, we can actually see that the Blue Ant X 3D Max, which is this speaker, has appeared down here. And then we need to click on that. You can see now it's stopped flashing. We can see it in our My Device list. So the Blue Ant speaker here is under My Device. It's now connected. We can see over here it's connected. So now we can use it. So if we go over to YouTube and select a video.
Hey guys, in today's video we're taking a look at...
And so now you can hear the audios coming out of the Bluetooth speaker. So this is really great if you want to play music around the house or anything like that, or if you just want better sound quality out of your iPad, you can connect a Bluetooth speaker. This is also a really good speaker. I'll leave it linked in the description below if you want to check it out. But this will work with any Bluetooth speaker you have lying around the house, and you can connect it to your iPad. This one ties in perfectly with what we've just covered. Now you've got your Bluetooth speaker connected. Did you know you can switch between your audio sources right from the video you're watching? So whether that's your iPad speakers, your AirPods, or your Bluetooth speaker, you can switch between them without going back into the settings. So let's open up YouTube, and if we play this video, you can hear the audio is coming out of the iPad. But I also have AirPods in. So if I wanted to have the audio come out of my AirPods or even my Bluetooth speaker, we can easily change that without going into the settings. So what we want to do is open up the control panel. If you swipe down on the side of your screen up the top here, you can see this little media player right here. And then there is this little icon here. And if we click on that within the media player, it's going to give us our different audio sources to choose from. We just connected our Bluetooth speaker, so we have an extra option there. So we have our Bluetooth speaker right here. And if I select that and then hit play on the video, the audio will come to that.
Today I've got 5 tips that I think are going to...
But then if I wanted it to come out of my AirPods, I could come in here and select my AirPods, and then now I would be able to hear it in my AirPods. Also, if you open up your control panel and you find you don't have this widget here, you can easily add it by going to this plus icon, and then you go add a control, and you can either just scroll through here and look for it, or in the search you just write now playing, and it's right here. You just tap on that and it will add it into your control panel, and then you will be good to go. Okay, tip number 5. This one is for anyone who uses the Notes app to save ideas, do research, or keep things organized. You can save any web page directly into a note without having to copy and paste anything. It takes about 2 seconds and it's really handy. Okay, so let's open up Safari. And then you just want to browse to any web page that you want to save. So let's say we want to go to the Apple Store and have a look at the iPad Pro. So let's say I was doing research on the iPad Pro and I wanted to save this web page into my notes so I can view it later or easily find it again. All we need to do is come up here to the share icon and press on that. And then you can see we have notes right here. If we click on notes, it's going to add a link to this web page in our notes. So you can save it to a new note, or if you have any folders set up in your Notes app, you can select one of them. But I'm just going to go notes, and then you can create a note. And if you want to add any text for later to remind you about something, you can add it here. Check out the iPad Pro, and then you'll just come up to save, and that will save it straight into your notes. So now if we come out of Safari and we go and open up the Notes app, so you can see under Notes where I've saved it, it's added my note in here. And so now we can come in here and add more information to our note if we wanted, or if we want to go back to this exact web page, we just click on this and it will take us straight into the web page we were just viewing. That's all 5 tips for episode 10. Let me know which one was your favorite in the comments below, and also let me know which country you're watching.
Well, any comments or questions on that one?
Well, I missed a couple of things in there that I'm going to want. Definitely have to go back and look at it again.
Yeah, well, it can be done. 4th video is by Apple Support. Get to know the Apple Support app for iPhone, iPad, and Apple Vision Pro. With the free Apple Support app, you can get assistance with all your Apple products all in one place. It's automatically personalized for you and contains articles and videos so you can get the most from your devices. From getting quick answers to your questions to finding locations for service and repair. The Apple Support app is here to help.
From getting quick answers to learning about a new feature, the Apple Support app is like having a personal guide to help you with all your Apple products and services. The Apple Support app is free in the App Store, and it uses your Apple account, so it's automatically personalized for you. It's a convenient place to ask questions, quickly find solutions, locate service and repair providers, and so much more. Have questions about your iPhone, AirPods, Apple Watch, or any of your other devices? It's easy to focus on support topics that relate to your device. Support tools can help you with common tasks like viewing your subscriptions or changing your Apple account password. You can even get help and information for the Apple services you use. For example, you can find out how to set up iCloud Plus and where to manage your storage. You can also use the navigation tabs to search for service locations, keep track of upcoming reservations, and view recent support calls and chats. In the Videos tab, you can choose from a vast library of content about your devices, apps, your Apple account, and more. You can spend time getting to know topics like using photos, cleaning your AirPods, or learning new tips to get the most out of your devices. When you need more information, the Apple Support app has tools to help you troubleshoot issues and find solutions. You can get quick answers to your most important questions. Just tell us what's happening. Then, select your device. Depending on your issue, you'll find steps, videos, articles, and more. If you want to learn more about a device or service, just tap it. You can get information by browsing support topics that relate to your device, and even check its performance by running diagnostics. Let's find out how our battery is doing. Running a check is as easy as pressing a button. And you'll get results that can help you to better understand what's going on with your device. Download the Apple Support app from the App Store today to have solutions, tools, and information right at your fingertips. Apple Care Plus and certain app features are not available in all countries and regions.
Well, that sounds pretty powerful. Any other comments or questions?
Good to know.
Fifth video is by Sam Campitas again, 5 iPad tips that save time and money. In this video, I'm sharing 5 practical iPad tips that focus on everyday use. These are small changes you can make that help you get things done faster, keep things organized, and avoid paying for things you don't actually need.
In this video, I'm going to show you a few simple things your iPad can do that makes everyday use easier, like listening to articles instead of reading them, cleaning up mail clutter, and checking for apps that might still be charging you. This video is sponsored by TomTalk. When I'm reading a long article on my iPad, sometimes I'd rather just listen to it instead. So if we go to Safari, and here I'm on a website where I want to read an article, and instead of sitting here and reading through this whole article, I can actually listen to it instead. So to do this, I'm going to click on this icon at the top of the screen next to the website URL. And then down here we have Listen to Page. So we'll click on that.
New MacBook Pro release date. Here's when M5 Pro and M5 Max might debut. Michael Burkett.
And if you come back up to the menu here, you can pause if you need to. Sometimes I like to listen to it a bit faster because sometimes I feel like it's a little bit slow. So if you hit where it says 1 times, you can bring up the speed so it reads a bit faster. So I'm going to go here and then play.
According to Gurman, a new MacBook Pro is planned to launch roughly alongside Mac OS 26.3.
So this can be really handy when you're multitasking. Sometimes I will work on other stuff while I'm listening to the article and like minimize the page and go do something else. Now, not every website will be able to do this. It's just websites with a lot of text. So websites like Wikipedia can do this as well because there's a lot of text on a single page. So you just need to go to the website, click up here and check if it has listened to this page. And if you're on like a product page, like let's say the Apple website, you can see there's not much writing on here. So if you come up to the same option, it doesn't have listen to this page. So you can't do it on every website, but you'll find all your news websites, websites where you're doing research and there's a lot of text, you can do it on them. If your inbox is constantly full of junk you never actually look at, this is something worth knowing. You can unsubscribe from a lot of these emails directly in the Mail app. So let's open up the Mail app, and here we have an email from Yeti, and you can see up the top here it has unsubscribe. So at some point I must have purchased something from Yeti on their website, and then you put your email address in as part of the checkout process, and a lot of the time you automatically get subscribed to their mailing list. A lot of the time you don't want to be receiving all of the emails from them constantly, and some companies send out so many emails it can get a little bit annoying. So what you want to do to remove yourself from their mailing list is just come up here and click unsubscribe. You'll get this little pop-up and then you just want to go unsubscribe. And then now that'll send them a notification to unsubscribe you from a mailing list. So now when you get those emails that you never actually look at and you're always deleting, just hit that unsubscribe button and then it will actually remove it. So you are unsubscribed from their mailing list and you won't get any of their marketing emails. This next one is useful if you've ever run out of space on your iPad or wanted to move files off of it. You can plug an external SSD straight into your iPad and access it in the Files app. So here I have my SSD and it's got USB-C port on the end, and I'll just plug that into my iPad and then we'll open up the Files app. And you can see over here the X9 Pro, which is this external SSD. If I click on that, I can now access all of the files on this SSD, but I can also transfer stuff from my iPad over to this SSD. So if you have files on your iPad that you want to transfer, you can just go to On My iPad, search for the files that you want. Let's say we want to copy these files. We'll go select and we can click the files we want. And we can drop and drag onto the SSD. So if we click here, drop, hold it over there, and then we can drop it onto the SSD. Okay, and they're all transferred. Or you can press and hold on the file and go move, and then find your SSD and copy them over that way. So once you have moved the files to your SSD and you can see that they're here, I would go back to where they were and select them again. And if you're trying to save space, then you'll need to delete the files. So it actually removes it from your iPad and then you just have a copy on your SSD. If you want to learn more about how to do this, if you ever feel like the keyboard just takes up too much space on your screen or it just feels awkward to type on, this one's really handy. So you can actually resize the iPad keyboard and move it to wherever you want. So if you look at the keyboard like this, it can be quite hard to type on like this. Sometimes it's a bit easier if you turn it this way. You might find that easier. But if you still feel like that's too big, you can actually use a 2-finger pinch to resize the keyboard. So I'm just going to pinch in like that. And now you can see I have a small keyboard and I can move it around to anywhere on the screen. So if I wanted to type like this, I could do that. Or I could have it here and I could type like this. You could also turn your iPad. So you just press the 3 little dots down the bottom and you can move it wherever you like on the screen. And if you want to put the keyboard back to its full size, you can just pinch outwards. So we'll just pinch outwards and that makes it big, pinch inwards and that makes it small, and the 3 dots to move it around. This last one is something I think everyone should check every now and then. So let's go over to the App Store and then we're going to press your photo up the top here. And then if we go to subscriptions, you can actually see all of the active subscriptions directly from the App Store. So you can see here that I've got Apple TV, I had Bare Notes, but that's expiring soon. And I also have iCloud Plus. Things that I've cancelled is this teleprompter app. It's a really good idea to occasionally go through this list and just check that you're not paying for anything that you're not using anymore. And if you see something like, let's say I didn't want Apple TV anymore, I would click on that. And you can, I'm still in the free trial, so I'm not actually paying, but you would just go cancel subscription and then that will cancel it for the next billing period. So a really good idea to go through this and check that you aren't being charged for anything you are not using anymore.
Comments or questions?
Yeah, I gotta, if you're trying to save space on your iPad and those files are being synced up to iCloud Drive and back to your computer, you have multiple copies, so you have a backup. If you move them off your iPad onto your SSD, it will take them out of iCloud Drive and off your computer. And then where do you have the files? One copy on your SSD. Think about that, what you're going to do, because you need to back up that SSD.
Wow, she didn't mention that it takes it out of iCloud as well.
Yeah, you think about, she said to save space. Yeah, it will save space by taking it off your iPad, but where's your backup copy at that point? If you've been sending them from iCloud, your iPad to iCloud Drive and back to your computer, that's okay. You got 3 copies. You take it off your iPad, it will remove it from the cloud and remove it from your Mac. Then you only have the copy on your SSD. And that's not being backed up anywhere unless you manually do that somehow.
Well,
Something to
that's
think
caution.
about.
Mm-hmm.
Have a plan.
6th video is by Dan Wassink. Is Safari's address bar on the iPhone driving you crazy? In this video, I show you how the address bar works in Safari on the iPhone and explain the different layout options available. You will learn about the compact bottom and top positions, along with how each one changes the browsing experience. I also show you how to quickly switch the address bar location directly in Safari or through the Settings app. Whether you prefer the newer bottom layout or want the traditional top address bar back, this walkthrough will help you customize Safari the way you like it.
In this video, we're going to take a look at how we can move the address bar, or where we type in the URL in Safari on the iPhone. We have 3 different places where we can put it. We can put it at the top, the bottom, and then we also have a new compact view, which was introduced with iOS 26. Now, if you find this video helpful, what you may want to do is stick around to the end. I'll tell you a little bit more about myself and how you can help support my efforts in creating these videos. All right, let's take a look at this address bar in Safari on the iPhone. Let's go over to my iPhone. Let's first take a look at what this address bar is in Safari. See what we're talking about. Let's go ahead and open up Safari here. I tap on it. And the address bar by default is located at the bottom here. This is where you can see what website we're at. So you can see that I'm over at danstutorials.com. And when I tap on that, what do we get? We get the keyboard and I can type in a new address. So that is the address bar. So that's what we're going to be focusing on in this video. And basically we have 3 different places for this address bar. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tap on the X here to close that. And now it's back down at the bottom here. All right, so this view that we're looking at right now is called the compact view. This was introduced with iOS 26. What does that mean? What's the compact view? Well, if you remember back in iOS 18 and prior, what we had access to all the time was our bookmarks. We could see our open tabs or have a button to access our open tabs. We could share a website. Well, if we look here, you're going to see we don't have any of those tools available to us. Where are they? Well, being that this is compacted, what we have to do is we have to tap on the 3 dots. And when I tap on the 3 dots, I now have access to my bookmarks, my open tabs, and if I wanted to share this, I can share this. So basically what they did is they moved this under a button and made this compact. Also what happens with iOS 26 is this will shrink down when we scroll up. So watch what happens in this area here when I swipe up. You're going to see it shrinks down. Even those buttons are gone now. So how do we get it back? Well, we can swipe up and you can see it came back. Or what I can do is I can tap on that, and when I tap on it, it brings it back as well. So that's the compact view. Basically what it does is it hides all those tools, and the only way we can access them is by tapping on the 3 dots. And now I have access to those tools. Well, if you don't like that view and you want to see those tools available all the time, the bookmarks, your tabs, your share icon, things like that, what you need to do is you need to change it into bottom or top. So let's take a look at those 2 as well, Basically, like I said, we have three different views for this. In order to change this, what we have to do is we have to go into the settings of Safari. So I'm going to swipe up, and then we go over here to our settings app. Tap on it, and then we swipe up until we find apps. This is where we can see all the settings for all of our apps. Tap on it, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to S here. So I tap on S for Safari, and there's Safari. We have a lot of settings in here. We're just going to take a look at one, and that is our address bar. Apple calls it tabs, but basically it's our address bar. So you can see it's in compact view right now. Let's go ahead and change it to bottom and see what happens. So I'm going to tap on bottom here. And when I do, and when we go back over to Safari, watch what happens. Remember, those tools were missing: bookmarks, share, tabs. When I tap on it, look what we have down at the bottom here. We have our bookmarks, our open tabs, and then also our share icon. And they're going to show all the time. I don't have to tap on a button to view those. I want to share this website. I tap on the share icon and I can share this. Now, this does shrink down just like before. So when I swipe up, you're going to see that it shrinks down here. Again, I can tap on it to make it larger, or what I can do is I can swipe down and it brings it back. And again, I have all of my buttons here. So that's the bottom view. That's actually my favorite view. But what we can also do is move it up to the top. And when we move it up to the top, it actually does two things. It splits this in half. This is going to be up at the top, the address bar, while our tools are going to stay down here at the bottom. So let's see what I mean. I go over here to my settings, and we're going to go over here to top. And now, when I go back into Safari, we can see I have my address bar here, and this does compact when I swipe, but it's just my address bar. I can't see my bookmarks or anything like that. But if we look down towards the bottom, I have access to share, bookmarks, and then my tab bar, as well as being able to go back and forth. I should have mentioned that, but basically we can go back and forth between the different websites here. That's what the two arrows are there. So it basically just splits it. So if you like having that address bar at the top, like we do on our desktop, on our Mac, you can easily move it up towards the top. But our tools are still going to stay down towards the bottom here. So those are the three different views for our address bar. The three different places we can place our address bar in Safari on the iPhone. We can have it in compact view. With compact view, it just puts it down at the bottom, and then it hides all of the tools, the bookmarks, the open tabs, and the share icon. We have to tap on a button to access those. With that view, basically we can see more of our websites. That's the whole idea behind that. If you don't like that, you want to have your bookmarks icon show all the time, your share icon show all the time, what you can do is you can move it down towards the bottom, or put it into the bottom view, I guess you would say. And you do this through the settings app, Safari settings. When you put it at the bottom, it now places those buttons down at the bottom, and they're going to be there all the time. And then if you like the address bar at the top, you can also place it at the top. It only places the address bar at the top. Our tools are still located at the bottom, again, through Safari settings. So those are the three different views that we have, or the three different places that we can place the address bar in Safari on the iPhone. Now, if you found this video helpful,
I'll answer questions. We'll move on to one miscellaneous item. How to forward a snippet of a long email article by way of an email. If you look at the left window here, you'll see that you're looking at a long email in the middle of my iPhone. First thing to do is you select a snippet to be forwarded. Then you tap the forward arrow down at the bottom, and that opens the second window, which is the control window. And on the control window, you tap forward. It presents that control capability. And that opens the third window, which is the forward email. You simply enter the address and tap send. And in so doing, the recipient receives, as you can see on the bottom, the message snippet, but you also get the message title, they get the source address, and they find out it was you as the sender. So that's how to forward a snippet from a long article. On to questions and answers and social hour.
Okay, you're gonna stop your share. Any more comments or questions about any of the videos of the program, and we'll start a new video.
You did a great job, Lee.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, hearing none, DVMUG members, you know, on YouTube, if you're watching this, you can see the Q&A, which is the next portion, by getting a link on the DVMUG BBS. So they'll now stop the recording and we'll move on to Q&A.